Hello, everybody, and welcome to a duo cast of the Slice of Gaming podcast. I am joined by a very special guest, someone who hasn't been on the show in a while, and I'm excited to bring him back. WolfHammer, how you doing, Beef?
Pretty good. Like I said, busy, but it's the weekend, so looking forward to trying to get through some games.
God, that's the best feeling when
Yeah.
you finish a bunch of shit, and then you just think it's like
hmm
there's 2 days where I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, because I've been behind on my gaming too. It's not even that I bought a lot. It's just what I've been playing. Like I keep getting distracted. So yeah, looking
I feel
forward
that.
to it.
Just a bunch of different games now that we're at the end
Yeah.
of the year cycle. I should mention real quick. I'm the host, Uncharted Wolf. I always forget to mention I'm the host,
hmm
so probably confuses our viewers sometimes. But just thought I'd mention that. Beef, I actually want to ask you, since it's been a bit, what's your game of the year so far?
That's a good question because I've been thinking about it. I'm too up my ass and always like, do I actually like? Do I want to pick one specific one? So the cheating is Persona 3 Reload because I still do think Persona 3 is my favorite game, but
Yeah.
it is so one to one that I obviously make more original. I'm weirdly enough, because I have a few. Obviously, Astro's up there. Infinite Wealth is actually still holding strong, and then
Nice.
the big game that I am still playing is Metaphor. And for me, I know there's been discussion around the podcast host. I think I'm gonna lean on it is like way up there fighting for number one. So we'll
Everyone likes it
see.
except Bench. Like really.
I I know we'll maybe talk about it later if we talk about what we're playing or the nominees. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, for sure.
I'm obviously still early, and it seems like the some people have issues later on, so I can't speak on that. But
hmm
I'm pretty high on it. I think those are my main three that after decide upon.
So Astro, Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor.
Yes, I actually think Infinite Wealth. I don't know how it's going to do at the Game Awards. I think it might be a sleep among us because I know you're still. I believe you're
Yeah,
still pretty high on it. I
my
believe
my
Moon is
number
still.
two.
Yeah, I think Moon's pretty high on it. I think like it
Moon
mostly
loves
is
it.
going to come down to I don't know how many of us play it, but I think that's three of us. It's like at least top three. So
Yeah, the real problem with Infinite Wealth is just not enough of us
I
have played
know.
it, but the people who played it, it's like number
hmm
two or one.
Yeah,
So
that's why I'm like, and we're gonna discuss these. We're gonna discuss sounds like Game of the Year nominees, but that's why I'm like, that's one. I'm like, do I think it's gonna nominate? I'm not sure.
I mean, we could get into it right now. Before I do, we are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever your favorite podcasts are found. Check us out on those platforms. Follow us on Twitter at A Slice of Gaming, and also check out what's it called? There was one more thing I had to say. Oh, like the podcast. Eventually, you ever get that thing before you get to a routine so far, and then by the 30th time you do the routine, it's like your brain short circuits. It's like, what is the routine again?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how to help you here, but yeah, that's like literally my. It's literally my job. It's like I used to have to like read a script, but now I don't. And it's like, oh, I don't need the script, and then you're always like, what else am I supposed to mention to use?
Oh yeah, no, that's just me talking out loud. I'm not I'm not expecting you to chime in. Don't worry.
Yeah.
What's it? But you mentioned it earlier. Game Awards nominees. They're on Monday. This Monday, so November. What is it? 18th. They're gonna come out. They're actually having like a whole ass live stream for it to announce the nominees as they always do. I'm personally very excited. But Beef, what do you think the game of the year nominees are? I actually was talking to this with Fusion the other day, and it was actually like really exciting going into this one because it feels like this year, like 2023, it felt like there was like 4 or 5 surefire shots for like the nominations for GOTY, and now it's kind of cool where I only really think there are 3 surefire thoughts, and I think you agree with me on them.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. It's funny. I usually almost kind of hate this topic because I feel like we talk. Well, I feel like at least people around like talk about till like it starts in like April. And I'm like, guys, this is 8 months
No, that's
away.
fair. Yeah.
Now it's like the week of. I'm like, okay, yeah, look back. And yeah, I'm kind of with you. Obviously, it's like the three big games with 90s of like Metaphor, Astra, and Rebirth. And after that,
hmm
yeah, because I'm like, I don't know, because I'm like, especially it's like I said, I was like, is Infinite Wealth gonna be on there? It's rated like around 90, but
Yeah.
Long RPG was released a while ago. It's the eighth game. And then there's, is there an indie gonna be on there? Because it's like think Balacho might, but it's like, is that just because everyone in my circle was talking about it? So yeah,
I
I have
mean,
no idea.
so everyone at least almost everyone, outside of you, Beef, I think you were one of the only ones who didn't drop your Game Award nomination
Nope.
predictions. Um, so maybe you can like cook up a quick list real quick of like what you think is going to be that list. But I have everyone's predictions here, and we can kind of go over them and like
Okay.
what we think. Benches was Rebirth, Metaphor, Astro, which those are
Mhm.
the three locks. Everyone has those three, obviously. Echoes of Wisdom, Dragon
Okay.
Age, Infinite Wealth.
Okay, I think I did see this.
I will say Dragon Age kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, but I actually see the reasoning because
Oh,
it's
wait. Dragon Age? I'm sorry. I misread someone else. I thought he said Dragon's Dogma.
oh no,
Dragon
no.
Age. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dragon Age is the weird one to me. I think I see the logic. A lot of like the game critics, like the people who were like really obsessed with BioWare games, loved Dragon Age. But then I feel like there were just as many like critical people on it, or like, it's
Hmm.
okay. And I feel like if you're any bit mixed at all, and we saw that with FF16, it was high praise most of the way, but there were some people that were mixed on it, and it didn't get nominated. And I feel like that kind of like affects like who gets nominated for GOTY.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm like, as with everything, I feel like after three, it's everyone's like throwing out ideas. For me,
Hmm.
my usual go-to is I try and sometimes I like look at how many reviews and just go on that. It's
Oh yeah,
almost it is because it does almost then become a point of what's more popular than what's actually like the most critically acclaimed. But
it's always been a
yeah,
popularity
I
contest.
know.
Which
It's
I mean,
so
like,
hard.
okay, things happen.
Well, I think the hardest is like if you, it's like you tend to think who you listen to, but it's like I don't know if we know the official numbers. I assume there's like at least 100 people who vote on this stuff, like from different outlets. Like everyone like
Uh, yeah, there's
gets
an
thrown
official
in,
list.
and I'm
It's like
like,
a bunch of outlets.
yeah, it's like I listen to what at most 5 people. It's like I don't really know what the heck anyone's thinking. You see, like yeah, from like big newspapers and sites that we don't listen to, but so yeah,
Hmm.
that's why I'm like I just don't know.
You
Yeah,
see stuff like Hollywood Reporter is like
yeah,
one
because you
thing.
see, like, I'm scrolling down up quick, like that 100x Resist, which I didn't play, but I know people who love it. And then I'm
Hmm.
like, but how many? And then you go and there's like 16 critic reviews, so it's
Yeah,
like
that's not getting
it can
nominated
be
just
an
for that reason.
89. It's like as an 89, but it's like I don't know, like, yeah, it's like if I was in my circle, I'd think, oh, maybe, but then once I click on the page, I'm like, never mind, that's not coming in.
Echoes of Wisdom is also an interesting one.
I know.
I feel like it's one where it's like I feel like I would see it. I could see it up there, but it just feels weird whenever I see people predict it's going
Hmm.
to be on there. Something about it just is like I don't think the conversation was strong enough around it for it to
I
be
know.
nominated.
I might put that in as like the last one, if my guess, because it's a Zelda game. Because yeah, it's popular. But like you said, like there's plenty of games that would be better that it would take its place. So I'm like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm trying to, and then I'm like, well, obviously the like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom did well. I'm trying to think how well others do, but it's like it's been a while. I don't really count Link's Awakening. It's like before that's like what um
Link
Links
Between
Between
Worlds.
Worlds.
It
Yeah,
was Triforce
like
Heroes, but let's not talk
how
about
well
that.
did that? Yeah, it's like how well that's so long ago. So it's like I that's
Yeah,
kind. If I had to pick almost the dark horse or the wild card, I think Tears, not Tears, Echoes of Wisdom might be the dark horse.
it's definitely like the Nintendo pick that would be like
Hmm.
chosen out of all the others because it's like Mario and Luigi. People are like, on. It seems like, and then what else had Nintendo had this year?
That's
Mario versus Donkey Kong.
yeah. I didn't think about that. That might be also why just like the Nintendo podcast alone and papers and outlets might
Hmm.
push that in. Now, I'm sure they also don't just do that. There's like third party games, but that might give it the boost to sneak in.
For sure. And then Infinite Wealth.
I
That's one like you said. It's like a high reviews, but my thing about Infinite Wealth, I don't think it's gonna be there because I just don't think enough people played it.
I know. I'm so between because yeah, there's people like yeah, I know plenty of people who's like, oh, it looks good. I haven't played the seven before, so
Hmm.
I'm definitely it's like not only am I not gonna play, it's like I'm not even like thinking about trying to squeeze in before. So yeah, that's why I'm like, maybe. Plus, I know some people like it's still very quickly viewed. There's like a few issues. Even I'd put issues on it. Like I would have nominated the last one. Oh, I think the last one was better. Yakuza 7. It didn't get
Oh,
nominated.
really?
I mean, not like slightly. They're both pretty.
No, that's
I
fair.
just slightly prefer it.
No, I mean, they're
So I'm
both
like,
amazing
maybe
games.
it'll make it. I would kind of like it to make it. Not even that I think it would win, but just kind. I think I would be. I'd have no complaints if Infinite Wealth made it on there.
Oh, dude, yeah. I'd be so down for it to be up there. Feels like personal choice. Like, hell yeah, I would have it on there.
Yeah.
And then, so that's Bench's predictions. Overall, it is the thing of like, I think I get Bench's ideas, but I think this is probably the one I agree with the least.
Mhm.
But we'll see moving forward. Fusion, same as always, Rebirth, Metaphor, Astrobot. And I think this is the one you looked at earlier, Beef. So he has Infinite Wealth, but he also has Balatro and Dragon's Dogma 2.
Okay. And yeah,
Balatro as the indie pick makes a lot of sense.
I know. And I'm like, but will it? Because it kind of blew up. But and I'm like, but did it? Or is that just my bubble? Because it seemed like, especially when it got into mobile, then like people like clamoring for it. And then I looked, it had like 50 reviews, and for like reference, like Rebirth and Metaphor and Astro have like 120 to 150. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, is that enough? I don't know if that's enough. But
Yeah, no,
so
for sure.
because yeah, I feel like that's my pick for indie. So it's more of just will I even get there? And I do not know.
I have another pick for indie, which I'll get into with my predictions later.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
And I said, yeah, I think I might. We're gonna see if we're both thinking the same thing.
Oh, okay, I got you. And then Dragon's Dogma 2. See, this is the funny thing. As you said earlier, it's like when people think about Game Awards in like April. In April, people would have said Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah.
I feel like the conversation around that game fizzled like
Mhm.
instantly. And I think a lot of people almost like came to a realization. It's like, oh, this game actually wasn't as good as we thought.
Yeah, it's weird. It's up there, and yet, like I said, it's rated higher than because of Wisdom. I feel like it has even less of a chance.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of. I don't know if it's lower than Dragon Age, but I just don't know if it's gonna. I feel like the problem is, I feel like there's a lot of the people who like it. It's just feels like maybe it's that like everyone was talking about. It feels like they've moved on to something else, or there's something they're higher on. But I guess we'll see.
Feels kind of niche, more niche than you would think for kind of a big Capcom release.
Mm-hmm.
It would definitely not be the Capcom release that would have the money around it like RE4 did last year.
No.
So that's Fusion's predictions. And then Moon, Rebirth, Astrobot, Metaphor, usual, and Balatro. Hades 2.
I've been thinking about that.
I don't think so. I
don't either.
I don't. I think it'll be that thing of like, early access can be voted on probably, but it's that thing of like, well, there's so many other great games, it feels a little unfair because like Hades 1 didn't get nominated when it was in early access.
Yeah, we're talking about Atlas. I don't even know. Like, I'm like struggling to like decide if I put on because like I love it, but it's like, oh, vote on next year. I'm not gonna vote 2 years in a row. That's my thinking, but yeah, like
it feels unfair almost.
Yeah, I don't know if that's almost one. Then also, I'm like, I don't feel like, at least critically, I feel like it's being talked about. I feel like it's just people like, oh, we know it's being worked on, but we're not like constantly playing it. We're playing other things, even though like we know it's great. I feel like people are just kind of like, I'm gonna wait when it comes out because then it's gonna just blow up.
And then the last one is Silent Hill 2 for Moon, which I also put Silent Hill 2 in. I think Silent Hill 2 has a way more of a chance than people are giving credit.
I don't. Maybe. I haven't played it. Maybe that's why. I do think that the biggest thing helping it is that like it is more than just 1-to-1 because it's much longer apparently.
That's way longer.
Which is why I'm like, maybe. I don't know what to think about it. It's in like I could see it. But it's definitely it's just not in my mind. Maybe is why.
No, that's fair. I think it's one of those things where I feel like the quality really like brings it out, and also something that kind of may weirdly help it is kind of an underdog story because everyone thought it was going to be dog shit.
That's fair. Yeah, and, that's fair.
And it comes out and it's like an 89. People are in love with it. People are talking about it. It's the best, the fastest selling Silent Hill to date. I think this is going to really help out the game and get it up there.
And I think what helps it, maybe unlike Dragon's Dogma, is it's like I don't. This is my hunch. Is that story like heavy games, especially like very like deep important ones like Silent Hill? Because I played the original, will like
Yeah.
have a little bit better because that will stick with you like that story the
Yeah,
most.
no, for sure.
So that's why I maybe I'm flipping. I guess yeah. I'm like maybe I could see that. I could definitely see that. It was like the sixth. I try to stay. I'm one who I'm like I don't know if I'd vote for remakes over original games unless they were
No, Fusion
amazing.
would love you.
Unless it's like amazing or very like yeah, it's like
Yeah, no, I totally get why people are like
yeah,
kind of adverse to remakes because it's like, oh, you already got the like
that feels a
remarks
little
love.
yeah, it feels like it's like oh that's almost cheating, but
There is one game that feels even more cheating that I want to bring up in a little bit.
okay, yep.
I think you know what I'm talking about.
I don't
Um,
know. Actually, I don't. Maybe you're gonna
oh,
say it, and I'll come up with it. But I'm like, what is he talking about right now?
I'll talk about it after we're
Okay.
almost done. Jackie G, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Astrobot Metaphor, Balatro, Dragon's Dogma 2, and then the new edition, which is something we both agree on, Helldivers 2. I think for sure
No.
Helldivers 2 gets nominated.
Oh.
I think for absolute certain Helldivers 2 gets nominated. I think
Oh.
I get a lot of the like kind of like, oh, I don't know, like would it make it? Like, oh, it's a multiplayer game where the reviews weren't as high. I feel like it had such a massive zeitgeist around it for like the point of the year it came out, and
Mm-hmm.
it held on to that zeitgeist for a while. Even when Sony tried to kill it, like there's still people like very much playing that game a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of those people are going to come back to it, and I feel like you see like people like the Greg Millers of the world that were so obsessed with it, and I think there's more than enough people in the gaming commentary space, the people that vote on these things, that were very hardcore obsessed with this game, and it broke out into the mainstream. Even it sold like 15 million copies, and I think that's going to show in the voting, and it's going to make it up there.
Yeah. Because I've been about this too. It's like sometimes you pick Game of the Year because like it almost represents the year. I remember thinking that I was like, I'd almost be okay. I remember when Animal Crossing came out right at COVID. I was like, I'd almost be okay if
Yeah,
that like I was fine. It got nominated. I was like, that's fine because it almost like
it made sense to be
if I
nominated.
think about 2020, I was thinking like, what was everyone talking about and playing Animal Crossing?
100%.
Even though now I'm sure people like that wasn't as good as we thought, but it's like yeah, but like that was the game at the time.
And then my list, Rebirth, Metaphor, Astrobot, which I actually put as the winner. We'll get into winner in a second.
Okay.
Helldivers 2, Silent Hill 2, and Animal Well was the indie I was thinking of.
Okay.
I think it as like kind of the niche indie, like it has Donkey behind it, and like people
Mm-hmm.
really hardcore obsessed with it. It was getting perfect scores all across the board. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
almost a success story, and they want to try to put it up there. I think it's a 50-50 between Animal Well and Balatro, though.
Okay, I'd go with that too. I'm full agreement because I looked and yeah, like a similar amount of reviews to Bellagio. So I'm like, oh, I really
Mm-hmm.
don't know. It's hard because I think me and you both kind of fell off Animal Well because I
And I
almost had
beat it.
similar reviews. Oh, you beat it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't actually know that.
it's a good game. I really enjoyed it. I feel like it would be like an 8.5. I think it's just one of those things of like, I want combat out of my Metroidvanias too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want more out of it. And I think the puzzle focus was really cool, but it was so easy to get lost in, and to the point of just like frustrating to get lost in type.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't play it too much, but I just remember thinking like kind of similar. He's like, this isn't exactly what I was expecting. Maybe I'll go back to it at some point, but yeah. So maybe again, that's why it's not in my mind. But if I had to go off evidence, yeah, I think it's like pretty 50-50
Mhm.
chance.
Then moving to Jet, pretty much everything that's been said before: Rebirth, Astrobot Metaphor, Balatro, Zelda, Silent Hill 2. So, like stuff we've already talked about before. Makes a lot of sense always. Everything I see there. And then Bop, one of the last ones who did it: Astro Metaphor Rebirth, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Dragon's Dogma
Mm-hmm.
2, Balatro. Lost Crown, man, I want to believe it gets nominated.
I
I think
know.
it's too niche. I think it's just like not enough people played it.
Yeah, I like it. It's probably gonna be on my list for top 10. It's up there.
For sure.
I feel like may and then that one, I think we were talking is like, does it help that the studio, unfortunately, like that well, they like disbanded. They do kind of other stuff, luckily, but I'm like, does that help? That it's like, oh, we
Kind of like
can
an
like,
underdog.
yeah, it's like give it like it's like we did want more of this, even if like it didn't. Well, not that Ubisoft wasn't happy with it, but yeah, we want more of these either anyway. So, we'll see. I mean,
We'll
like
see.
you said, it's hard because some of this stuff, then you're like, if it didn't sell enough, not many players played it. How much does that matter if like the general audience isn't talking about it? I'm surprised none of you put on Wukong because I know you all like it.
Woo.
I
Okay,
know
I'm not a
critic.
fan.
Oh, okay, I thought you did like it. I
I
wasn't sure
liked
exactly.
it. I think it's a
Okay,
7. I think it is extraordinarily overrated, but I liked it.
okay. I'm just surprised no one like said like, oh, maybe. I
So yeah,
didn't think it
I
would.
wanted to mention that Wukong feels weird.
I
I
know.
feel like critically the reviews weren't high enough for it to be nominated, but I
No.
could definitely see it maybe taking the Helldivers 2 or maybe even the Silent Hill 2 spot.
Yeah. Maybe. I'm like, I might like win like the players vote, but
Oh, for
I
sure it's
don't
winning the
think.
players vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Dude, the way people like content creators or streamers talked about that game, you would think it was the next Sekiro. And then I played it, I'm like, dude, this is fine. It's a good game, but like calm
Oh, I
down,
know.
guys.
Yeah. I still haven't had the urge to play it because I'm like, this looks like like nothing special. I kind of get why it popped off because
it,
mostly it popped off in China, but it's like I don't think it's like revolutionary.
it just felt like it was trying kind of hard to be a Souls-like, but it didn't go the extra step that like
Mm.
FromSoft Souls-likes do. And there's a godlike moment at the end of the game. And like there's like the secret boss that's also incredible. And I'm like, I don't know why you guys didn't do the whole game like this. Like the best way to say it is like I wish it was more like classic God of War. Like
Yeah.
bigger than life or Asura's Wrath type of thing. A couple more games I wanted to mention. Just yes or no. Any possible chance they get nominated? Stellar Blade,
No.
Tekken 8.
Um. Hmm. Did Street Fighter 6 get nominated last year? No, I can't
No, it
remember.
didn't.
Oh, then no. Never mind.
Unicorn Overlord.
No, I like it. I don't know
Yeah,
if maybe to my top 6, but I don't know if anyone else like still remembers it. Feels like
yeah, for sure. I don't. Can you think of any other games? I do
no.
want to bring up one.
I was like,
um,
pull up
something
my
that I
list.
feel like there is a possibility it gets nominated, and a lot of people get angry over its eligibility. Shadow of the Erdtree.
Oh,
There's a chance.
I
I
my
mean, Phantom Liberty was nominated for some awards last year, and that
mm,
caused a big stink. So I don't know. What do you think?
I did forget about that because I think I probably wouldn't have put on mine. Jesus. I don't know how many people can be. It's just more Elden Ring. There's like
Oh
it's just
god.
more Elden Ring, but that can go both ways. Is that why? Like, yes, it is more Elden Ring. That's why I'm voting for it. Or like it's like we already gave it its flowers.
Yeah, no, I mean Shadow of the Erdtree, I fucking adored it, but it's
I
one of
don't.
those things where it would just feel really weird to see just a DLC
I
expansion.
know
Like, yeah, it's bigger
it's
than DLCs.
massive.
It's huge. Like, it's so worth the money and then some. But like, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's Elden Ring again, and that won Game of the Year. Not even like
Yeah,
nominated; it won the entire award. So
I don't know.
maybe it's just like let someone else take the
And now I'm
credit.
thinking about though. I'm like, man, that was some, especially like the
Very
like
good.
as it end like the later it got cooler. I'm like, shit.
Dude, the final
I'm like,
boss.
I would almost put it on my like if I was in there, I'd be like, huh, maybe maybe I would almost. It'd be kind of. I'm sure I'd get yelled at, but
Oh no,
yeah,
dude, Fusion would get real mad at you.
it's if it because at the beginning I think I was a little like this is too much, just more Elden Ring. But by the end, I was like, no, especially like towards the ends, like they just did go up another level so much that I'm like, no, this is dope.
They kind of nailed it, yeah.
Yeah.
Beef, do you have your predictions by chance?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with the usual three.
All right.
I will add in. I'll go with Sonic Hill 2 remake as well.
I thought you said Sonic 06
Oh
remake for some
no,
reason. I was
what?
like, whoa. I don't know. My ears are just broken, I guess.
I'll go and then
Silent Hill 2 remake?
yeah, Balatro. I'll throw in Balatro.
Balatro, okay.
And then I don't know if I'm what I'm gonna do next. Oh, I might agree with. Am I gonna get yelled at for saying with Bob? Maybe Lost Crown.
Oh,
I don't
Lost
know.
Crown.
I don't
I
know.
just,
Now
I just
that
feel
I
like not
looked,
enough people played it. That's
and
the
then I
thing.
look back on like even the last Ori game didn't get nominated, it was like a 90. It was even higher rated. I'm like, what was it? Because I don't want to say Dragon's Dogma. I'm trying to think of everyone else's. I'm like, what's one more?
Helldivers?
No, I'm sorry. I don't think
I get it. It's
it's on
fine.
the border. I think it's gonna. I'll go with Lost Crown. I think I'm again. Obviously, I'm struggling, but I'm just gonna think between
No,
like
you're fine.
it's still in the news, obviously, because of recent closures. So I just think it might have a chance. Oh wait, I didn't say Infinite Wealth.
Um,
Infinite Wealth or lot. I must have them similarly because it's July, not January
just
games.
just put up both on there. That way you win no matter what.
Yeah, but then 7. I'll go. Yeah, because I won, I'll go. Sorry, Infinite Wealth over
All
Lost
right.
Crown. I just glossed over it on my
So
list.
Metaphor, Astrobot Rebirth, and then from there, oh god, my
So,
brain. Go ahead.
Balatro, Silent Hill 2, and Infinite Wealth.
Infinite Wealth. Okay. Honestly, yeah, I see that list very likely. Go ahead and put that in chat so you can pin it.
Okay.
Um, but yeah,
I think
I think.
it's
Sorry, go ahead.
hard. Yeah, because it's hard. Like it's hard, especially because I think everyone's gonna be so focused on those top 3. That's like, what are you then looking for? And that's just, I'm like, I think I don't know how these people vote. Like, do they look at the top rated games? Do they have their own lists they keep
I think
throughout the
they
year?
unironically just choose their favorites,
I know.
the games they like the most. I
And
know it's like a very boring answer, but like I feel like you
it's
look at
like
some of the nominations in the past, it's like, yeah, that just was someone's favorite game.
it's like, and I would do that too, but it's like,
Same.
how does like that shake out then when everyone's is together?
I think this year is one of the harder ones with early access and DLC now being kind of thrown into the
Yeah,
equation of like what does count, what
because I
is fair.
because I would have said yeah, Urtree at one point, but then it's like, just as more stuff comes out, you're like, no, this is like good enough to like
I want a best
be out
DLC
in
category
DLC.
for Urtry.
I'm
That's what I
surprised.
want.
Oh, there isn't. It'll
Yeah, there
win.
isn't.
Oh, I don't know what it'll win now. Then it might get nominated for something, probably like
It'll
action game.
yeah, maybe like an action game.
Well, I think it's
Phantom
action
Liberty was in
adventure.
Phantom Liberty was in more categories than you would think. So that's kind of
Hmm.
one of those things of like, yeah, if the expansion is good enough, and Urtree is like a 90 plus, so it's good enough
Yeah.
to make it on there. Well, Beef, that's up for Game Awards. Very excited for those nominations. We'll obviously be doing probably on the podcast next week a big prediction special of like who wins every award and tally up the
Yeah.
points, see who wins. Very exciting stuff. I love
I,
Game Awards seasons. It's always an enjoyable time.
I will say I love Astro.
Oh yeah,
I might see Metaphor win it though.
that is the
Especially
question. Who wins?
especially like like how things are going in the news. I'm like, because of how like tied in Metaphor went in with like their like themes. I'm like, I think it might take it, even though Astro rated higher, but we'll see.
I think it's one of those things where almost over time, I feel like more people are, I don't want to say lower on Metaphor, but like kind of the
Uh,
hype wears off a little bit and they're like, okay, this game is still amazing, immaculate, probably one of their
I,
games of the years. But I feel like Astro almost stuck people longer.
to be
But
fair, I also
that's my
haven't been
circles.
listening. I haven't like been listening this week, and it's like the last week of. I'm not entirely sure like what people are thinking like for finally like I
Hmm.
do.
No, that's fair. Um, yeah, I'm very excited to see. I want to believe Astrobot wins because I just think it would be awesome. But also, I mean, I'd be fine with Rebirth or Metaphor winning. It is that thing though, Beef. I feel like it's just going to be between those three. I can't imagine the other
No,
whatever the last
well,
three
that's
games
why I
are.
mean that's why it gets hard because then it's like it feels like you was like throw this in
Because those are
like I
the
was
massive
doing.
90 plus games.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the news. We don't have too much time to be able to go through all of it,
Nope.
but this is a short news week. We not like we said, not a lot happened, and most of the episode we wanted to talk about nominations for Game Awards. Phil Spencer Speaks is the first story.
Mhm.
We got some different stories that came all around the Phil Spencer interview had with Bloomberg. First one, Phil Spencer says Xbox handheld a few years out. This is Ian Walker at Polygon. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer both acknowledged and poured cold water on persistent rumors about an imminent Xbox handheld announcement during a recent interview with Bloomberg. Quote, expectation is that we would do something, Spencer said, while also noting work on such project has yet to progress beyond market research and prototyping. Quote, longer term, I love us building devices, and I think our team could do some real innovative work, but we want to be informed by learning and what's happening now. So I will say, Beef, I saw this news story, and I just immediately thought, how do you guys not have this thing like anywhere near ready? How is this still like what you're saying a few years out? I feel like an Xbox handheld, I expected it next year. Seeing this kind of tells me it's going to be a few years out, which just feels like kind of a throw in my opinion. I feel like you want to get an Xbox handheld out as soon as possible. What do you think?
Well, Wolf, multiple years, that's two. That could be two. You know, that's the announcement. That's 2026, which
well,
is
that's where the
again
new Xbox console is.
that's when I would have expected. Obviously, now that I'm like that's further.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know because the more I think about it, the more I'm like I kind of do want that. Just be obviously I play a lot of Game Pass stuff. I'm like that would be perfect. Because I might, but now I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be rough. It's especially gonna be rough as like the newer other PC ones come out. It's like, which one
You
do
big
I
handheld
get?
guy?
Not, I mean, I still have my Steam Deck. I never like upgrade to the VOG or the OLED, but I do like it a lot. I have it. I always carry it with me, like so pretty big. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been,
Oh,
especially
yeah,
like
it's
the
hefty.
PC. It's how I do not want to play like PC gaming. That is as close as I'll get, and it's pretty perfect. Like middle grounds, like easy enough, pretty powerful. Not like for everything, but powerful enough. So, yeah.
I there were rumors of a PlayStation handheld. What do you think comes out first then? Because like
I
it feels like either or could happen now.
I don't know if I buy the PlayStation one. I mean, maybe that's because no one has officially talked about it. And it's like,
It
what?
hasn't had official things, but like there have been like very credible rumors, like
I
pretty
feel
much
like
like people who are
it's.
always right.
I know. I feel like it's just harder to imagine because, like, with Microsoft, they're like close to the PC space, so it's like it's basically a PC, and that's like it's harder to think about with Sony unless it's going to be, like the olden days of handhelds, which and you just know they're not going to go back to like this thing can't play. We gotta make different games for this, which those
They
they're like
just
we're
can't
not.
do that.
They're like we're not doing that anymore. Nintendo won't even do that anymore. It's like
Yeah,
games take too long. We're not like them. Just like well, have to here, have to here.
they effectively
So
need like a portable Xbox Series S type
yeah.
deal.
Oh, but
Which
yeah, that's why I mean it would be for both their cases. That's the minimum they're going for.
I do you think when a handheld comes for either of them, they would say, "Hey, not every PS5 Series X game works on this thing," just to avoid like future issues, or do they very much make the guarantee it's like you can play all of the games on here?
Well, that's my thing. Is like I was thinking they would want to get it to like wait till the handheld could be to that point. So it's like, yeah, the new gen is coming, but while we're doing cross gen, that thing is still supported. So it's got like 4 years as long as it's essentially last gen, but it still is gonna work. So yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know because it's like, but then it's like
there's a market.
you also see how long the like crossover period takes now. It's like people get mad, but they can be like, we don't care.
I mean, Black Ops 6
Basically,
came out on PS4. This crossover period is
I
forever.
it did. I completely forgot about
Yeah,
that.
PS4 and Xbox One. It's like I don't know how it runs on those
I know.
things.
I was about to say I wish I had one because I wish I had one. I sold mine. I'm sure there's a PS4 I know somewhere. I almost kind of want to like test out. That seems wild to me.
So weird. Apparently, it's a much better port than like if you remember Black Ops 3 on
I'm
PS3.
Yeah,
Oh,
because my brother bought it. I think not knowing it didn't have like the campaign. It only was
there's no
multiplayer.
campaign. It was
It was
multiplayer
like
and zombies.
I was like, that's weird. I
It
can't.
was so
Yeah.
weird.
So
Next headline from the Spencer interview. Tom Ivan has this. Phil Spencer says Avowed wasn't delayed due to quality concerns. Obsidian's RPG was once scheduled for release this year, but in August, Xbox said it was pushing the title to 2025, February 2025. With Microsoft having a relatively large first-party lineup for late 2024, it said at the time that it wanted to give players backlogs some breathing room. Spencer discussed the delay in further detail in a new interview with GameFile. Quote, we can afford it when we have the Diablo expansion, then Black Ops, then Indie and the Great Circle. We didn't move it because Obsidian needed the time. They'll use the time. Spencer added Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty and we planned it out. We talked with the Game Pass team. We said, okay, let's make sure we pace this out a little better. I do you buy this? I feel like this is one of those things where it's like I feel like it's you could see what they mean by like, yeah, we wanted to give like people like pace out the Game Pass releases and whatnot. But it's also like, hey, Avowed is 30 FPS right now. If we get the few extra months, we could
Well,
get
that's
it to
why
60. And I think
I agree
that's
with
just like,
that,
oh,
yeah.
that works out.
Yeah. I think it's more like because obviously Indiana Jones is the one they didn't push, and it's still coming out this year. So I'm guessing it's like if of the two, we're going with that. So I'm like half buying it. I've been making I made it. I should have made that. It's like now Phil Spencer's the one saying stuff about rushed versus delayed games. So now we're in that mood. Yeah, because I'm like, it's so weird too. Because now they push it to February. It's like even more crowded. Not with their games though. So it's like maybe they are serious, even though it's gonna be crowded with Monster Hunter and Yakuza. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm fine with it because especially now, like if Avowed was coming out soon and I had to finish it, I'd be like, no, that is not happening. But yeah, I don't know what to think most because I don't know what to think about Avowed. Like I'm looking forward to it and I'll play it, but I'm not like having such high expectations of it that I'm like it's gonna be like a showstopper. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm like, I guess yeah, just more time. It's like get as good as you can because let's hope we're gonna see what exactly its fit is in 2025 of like is it a big game for them or like a stopgap?
Yeah, I'm very interested to see kind of what Avowed does for Xbox, both like from the reception standpoint critically and also just financially. It is that thing of like February just seems like a way worse release date for it, considering it's like literally the day after Assassin's Creed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So this next headline, I accidentally got an old article headline from August at Gamescom, which I'll be honest is pretty comical that like I read this and I just assumed it was from today because it's like wow, Xbox really does just repeat themselves.
Yeah, which is almost my problem with it. It was like this wasn't. I was like I don't had too much news from this week, especially because
Yeah.
it felt like a lot of this wasn't real brand new. But when he talks, like they're obviously gonna write about it.
Effectively, what the actual headline that I thought it was in regards to other games coming. Phil was basically like, yeah, other games are going to come. The door is open. We could see a situation like Halo coming eventually. And that's just like a non-news story to me. I think a lot of people were kind of like, oh man, he just confirmed it. It's like, yeah, they confirmed it with like in February. Like this is not a surprise to anyone. I remember when people were like, oh, it's only going to be the 4 games. It's like, no, it's not. Like it's going to be way more than those 4 games. Just get used to it. This is how it's going to be for a bit.
Yeah. I think I just got used to it too. I think we both have. I'm sure like a lot of people and I've just gotten used to it. So it's like it's like, oh, it's whatever. But yeah, I know. I'm sure there's still people like trying to almost put on the executive hat, like you're gonna like do too much damage to it, and he's like, we're figuring it out. I don't know where to think exactly too far past that. I'm sure it'll be again a news story when it happens again, especially depending on what exactly it is. I think I saw Age of Empires 2, like the console version got like rated, rated. So it's like that. And
It
it's like
wasn't even that. People were playing it.
oh wait, really?
Yeah, people were playing it on
Oh,
PlayStation. Okay. Like there were like names that had the PlayStation logo next to it.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, I'm more interested. So when that's, could I see that? I don't know if they want to keep doing do that at the Game Awards. I feel like that kind of Gamescom thing was like people are like let's just in a tweet or something. But yeah, oh yeah, look forward to that. I guess I haven't played them, but I guess that works. Apparently, those are popular. So
yeah, they're very popular. And then the last one, quick fun one. Microsoft reveals its new marketing campaign. This is an Xbox. Chris Scullion.
Yeah.
Not much to say here. I don't even need to read the article. It's effectively a brand new marketing slogan of, hey, this is an Xbox. This is an Xbox for your lap. One that tags along. Kind of showing that Xbox is ubiquitous to like all these different like platforms, TVs, phones, all that stuff. Do you think this is a good marketing strategy? Kind of like really lean towards this? Because I don't know if this does much for Xbox.
I don't know either. It's a little cringy, but sometimes I'm like, sometimes they can work with that. It's hard to tell, like exactly. It's almost weird because you think like riding off how good Black Ops 6 is doing, it seems like both financially and just like how reception that it's like they can get away with like, like this stuff, but I'm still like it still feels like the loyal fans are like not really caring too much about that and they're like still pertaining like us. I mean, obviously it's not exclusive, but like still like you need to, like satisfy us first.
It was funny watching some podcasts talk about it, and they were like, "Wow, the Xbox really they did it. They created a new meme for social media." It's like, dude, no one's using this.
I don't
No one's
know.
making this as a
Yeah.
meme.
No.
It just goes like it's like the corporate pandering, like when all the accounts tried to be like Wendy's Twitter, and it's like, okay, guys, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah, it's like yeah, I'm like it's not terrible. Like I'm not like it doesn't really go me one way or the other. I can kind of see us like making that joke and like passing, but I think it's
You can't
it's a
force a meme.
it's a little cringy in my opinion. Not that
Yes.
it's not terrible, but it's not
All
the
right, and
worst thing I've ever seen. But I'm like, it's a little cringy.
moving into our next story, like I said, there's not a lot here. Stellar Blade coming to PC in 2025. Shift
Mhm.
Up expects to release a PC version of Stellar Blade in 2025. The company said in its Q3 2024 earnings report, we're aiming 2025 release. Shift Up said in a response, given recent trends like Steam's growing presence in AAA games market and global success, we are expecting the PC version to perform even better than the console version, which I kind of found very interesting. And also, I think they said one other thing. Oh, yeah. The Nier Automata crossover downloadable content will be released on November 20th. Beef, did you care about Stellar Blade at all? I forget.
I have not played. Wait, did I play the demo? I think I checked out the demo, and like everyone else, I was a little surprised it was not like Devil May Cry and more
It was almost
Sekiro.
Sekiro.
It
I
was
was
way
very
more
surprised.
Sekiro. It was so shocking that it's like I think I meant to go back because it's like I had to like shift my brain because I was fully expecting. I mean, obviously it's Neo or Devil May Cry, so I know I have not gone back to it, so
Mhm.
I didn't have like yeah. So that's kind of maybe when I go back to. We'll see. I don't know if I'll go back to on PC, but and you said they're having DLC too.
Yeah,
Oh
for
no,
Nier
the
Automata
Nia. Did
crossover.
they say I? So I'm getting the impression that's like story DLC. I couldn't tell. It seemed
Uh, I think it's just like a whole like kind of new story thing. Yeah.
that's a little shocking considering it's Nia. That's almost more interesting because I obviously like Neo, so I'm like,
Yeah, it was announced a while back at the State
God.
of Play.
Oh, I know, but I was like, I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting out of it, but I'm like, man, if this is like an actual like, because you know how the director Yoko Taro is going to be, it's like, no, this is
Oh yeah.
canon. He's like, this is canon. And I'm like,
It's like, God
Jesus.
damn it! Now I gotta play this.
It's like that's like, and then everyone, if I could see this actually being almost more interesting than the game, if it's like it's weird and like, oh yeah, it's canon. It's like, God damn it, now I gotta see what have you done here.
um, yeah, I will say the most interesting thing is probably like just them saying, "Oh, we expect it to perform even better than the console version." But even
Oh
then, that's like,
yeah,
yeah, that's not too surprising. I mean, it was PS5 exclusive, and I don't. I think the PC audience, for better or for worse, is going to gravitate towards this game more. I'm like you, Beef. I played the demo, I really enjoyed it, and it's one of those things where it's like I will 1000% play it before Soggies, but I'm also like, I got too much shit to play, man.
yeah, yeah. This has been I've slowed down this year. Like I still got a
Same.
pretty good amount, but it's definitely like it's not even like slowed down. It's like I fully like gone back to allowing myself. It's like yes, I will just play Call of Duty or something else for hours, even when I'm like, I could be getting a story instead of just mindless. But yeah, that's how it's been. So I got other stuff I'm like, I need to finish before the end of the year.
Yeah, same here. Next up, Lightspeed Studios, a brand new studio with Hideaki Itsuno.
Oh yeah.
Exciting news. We're thrilled to welcome Hideaki Itsuno as head of Lightspeed's Japan studio with over 30 years of experience. He will lead the development of AAA action games with our global teams. Join us in our global talent recruitment. I mean, hey, the Hideaki Itsuno pretty quickly leaving Capcom and then immediately finding a new job somewhere else and pretty much creating a studio from the ground up. I kind of expect this. We're not going to see this for a while, but I very much
No.
expect us to basically get a Devil May Cry style action game. But who knows? Maybe he wants to branch out and do something new. But it's
Yeah.
also that thing of like every time a creator says, "Oh, I want to try something new," and they just make whatever they made last time.
Yeah. I'm sure for the like big Devil May Cry fans too, this is like interesting. I mean, I don't know how they feel about the actual series, if they're gonna go on with it, like another Devil May Cry, but at least this, I'm sure they're like looking to. Because he also still directed Dragon's Dogma 2. He just left afterwards, right?
Yeah, he
believe that's
directed DD2 and left just a couple months afterwards.
yeah. So it's definitely gonna be a while because like he just finished the game, but I'm interested. At least I'm interested. I haven't like Devil May Cry that much, but I'm interested at least because like I at least would take another action game.
As someone who loves Devil May Cry, I'm like so down for whatever he does next. It is that thing of like, I really hope he's not like, I'm gonna make a Dragon's Dogma style game. It's like, I tried that game. I feel
like it's gonna go more since he just did that. I feel like it's gonna go more.
Yeah,
Devil May Cry 5. I've always meant to play Devil May Cry 5. It's just I don't know if it's because I think it's just because it's like I know I don't need to play all the other ones, but it's like I think just because that is like there's like well, maybe I should go 4 first. So, but one day I'll get it. Maybe I just need to be like like one day I'll get to it when I have the time.
And then last news story, I just want to talk about this really fast. Sony president, COO, and CFO Hiroki Totoki says that PlayStation are currently reforming their gaming business with the following steps. Changing business structure, new look at game development approach, portfolio concept to be introduced, cost cuts in different areas, optimization and investment in sales and marketing. Genki transcribed all that, by the way. So obviously a lot of business jargon. The thing that I parsed out that made me want to put this out, cost cuts in different areas, new look at game development approach. I want those two together kind of tells me it's like, do you think they're kind of trying to move away from the like giant AAA games, like these like $300 million budget games? Because Hiroki is the money guy. He wants to make sure they get margins.
I know. I never know because it seems like, is that going to work out? It feels like that's what people expect and want. Mm-hmm. It's almost, I mean, I don't even love all of them, but it's almost kind of what I expect, them to do. Like, because it's like for Belwis, I always try them out. So I don't know because it's especially. I mean, we talk about like how much longer it gets. It feels like you got to, but I really don't know. It feels like it's also the kind of thing where it's like plenty of people talk about. It's like you can say that, but at the end of the day, it's like what stands out is the biggest, the like best looking. So
you're also trying to steal a ship that's like pretty directly already chose its destination.
Yeah, I think it's just like at some point they're like, it's already like hard now. We only get like 1 or 2 out a year, and of course they can like publish others stuff which helps, but they're like with their own studios, they're like, if we want to get 1 or 2 out from our studios, maybe that's concerning.
For sure. Moving on to reviews of the week. We got 2. Dragon Quest III HD2 remake is the first one. 84 on OpenCritic. Lots of 9s, 10s, some 3 out of 5 from Eurogamer, stuff like that. So kind of reading a bit of the reviews, it seems like what the big sentiment is, hey, this is a great remake, this is a great game, but it does still have a lot of the trappings of a JRPG from the late 80s, early 90s. Because this is a very old game. This is an NES Famicom game. So this is one of those things where it's like, yeah, they were very faithful, faithful to a fault type deal. As someone who loves Dragon Quest III, I'm actually very much, I read that. It's like, okay, that's exactly what I want. Let me like speed up random battles and stuff, and I'm good. Like that's pretty much like how I feel going into this. I'm very excited to check it out eventually. I don't think I'm gonna get to it by the end of this year though. I have like 300 games I need to play, and this is a game I already played this year. Like technically, as excited I am for this remake. What about you?
Yeah, I'm interested. I think I was actually. It's almost been. I'm surprised how long it even took to come out. Like I think it was announced so long ago. That's like I'm not as interested, but I'll eventually get to it because I play a bunch of these HE2D games. This one that like surprisingly they're going with this one. Like, remake of an old series, so I'm very much looking. So I'll get to it. Definitely looks good. So,
very pretty. And then moving into Lego Horizon Adventures. This one kind of surprised me.
It surprised me.
72.
I know. Well, someone did point out like I didn't realize it's made by Gorilla, not the normal Lego guys. not Telltale, Traveler's Tale. That's it.
It's a Studio Gobo did it. Guerrilla Games is just kind of like a subsidiary. Like they help console on it and whatnot, but like Gobo is kind of the main developer on it. This is way lower than I was expecting, though. I mean, 7 out of 10 from IGN, 2 out of 5 on Eurogamer, 5 out of 10 from Game Rant. I will say, I was never going to play this game, so this doesn't really affect me at all. But it is that funny thing of like, I wonder what really went wrong, because late games usually get like high 70s, low 80s.
I know.
So this seems like lower than usual.
Well, I'm also wondering, like, is this gonna sell? I think most people thought this is like a guaranteed success. You know, as much as people I know, like bigger media doesn't care too much about Horizon. Obviously, it always sells. So I'm like, how is this gonna work? Yeah, I know. I was like, maybe gonna play it when my friends was interested. Now it's like, haven't talked about it. We didn't even I haven't mentioned it to them. They haven't mentioned. I'm like, okay, never mind.
It kind of tells you it's like, okay, I don't think anyone's actually interested in the group now.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on finally to what we've been playing. Just real quick, just talk about. I want to make sure, Beef, you're playing Black Ops 6 and Metaphor, correct?
Yes.
Go ahead, Tuck. Go for it.
I'm so shocked how much I'm playing Black Ops 6. I haven't played COD in 10 years. And of course, like, there's a lot going for it. Like, because it's Game Pass, it's obviously, it seems like it's the best reviewed one in I don't even know how long. So there's a lot I'm going for it. And worst part, I haven't played the campaign yet. Everyone's talking about it. Like, I haven't. I probably will, but it's like, again, this one me and my friends are playing for. And yeah, and the problem is going to Metaphor is like, I want to play Metaphor instead. It's very good, but you know, like, I'm like, I gotta focus on that. I gotta like pay attention, just absorb it, which I love doing, but it's like, well, then you stop playing COD before it. And it's like, oh, I'll just play a little bit, and then hours go by. So
it's your rack game.
I know. So I'm like, man, that almost this. It's like it for like personal enjoyment. It's probably a top 10. Well, I don't know if I can actually put it on, but yeah. So I'm surprised how many people I know like go into it. Like Bench is obviously talking about the campaign a bunch. So I'm just shocked like how well it's going over with people.
Yeah, no, it's weird because like I'm very off and on with COD, and it's like this is probably the most interested I've been in a while, considering just the quality of the COD games lately. The problem is like I want to play Cold War's campaign first before I even think about jumping into this. But like this is an easy like Game Pass pickup probably. Like I am gonna probably renew my Game Pass when Indiana Jones drops, so it's like okay, I'll play Black Ops 6 at the same time.
That's probably smart, yeah.
And then Metaphor. I mean, you've been talking about it. How you feeling on this? Way higher, hopefully.
Yeah, because I can't say too much. Well, really, just won't because I'm not like that. I'm getting to August, but I have no concept of what month this game ends in. But I'm at like 30 hours. I just think it's very good. I almost don't. I was gonna say I can kind of get the criticisms, but actually, I don't think I can. At least not yet. Again, at least Moon seems like it's not the story; it's the combat, which I can get. Maybe I've always like thought about. I understood
what skill issue.
I would no. It's definitely harder. Which some people like say like Persona 5 was too easy. And that's a criticism. I'm like, I agree. It's pretty easy. That's not really a criticism. It just like That's not why I don't want. Because I kind of agree. It's like all that it does if it's hard is it's just longer, and I don't really want that. So. It's like I can understand why, especially like you're kind of just like, oh, this is a little hard. But I kind of always when playing, I'm like trying to think probably more than the game requires, like try and think higher. So yeah, I like it. I just like it. I'm surprised how much I like it because it is so serious. But I think it's doing it not like in a dour way. It's like with like a grand scale, almost like a Final Fantasy. Funnily enough, like it's like Which, I mean, obviously the other Persona games are like stuff themes, but this just feels like it's being even more like, I guess that's just what the fantasy saying is doing is like, instead of a more like contemporary vibe, like going with that higher fantasy is adding that. So I was surprised. I didn't think that would do enough for me, but it's doing a lot for me. Just the change in setting.
No, that's awesome to hear. I mean, like the idea of like basically Persona style gameplay in this fantasy world was so like appealing off the onset.
Yeah,
I
so
will.
you, I was say you playing it?
Not yet.
Okay.
Here's the problem, Beef. I was excited, and I was like, I know I should have expected it. I really know I should have expected it. But it was that thing of like, oh, it's a new studio, it's a new group of people. Maybe they want to like streamline things. And then
Mhm.
I see 80 hours.
Oh,
And
I
I'm
know.
immediately in a bad mood. I'm like, how
Oh,
the fuck can you guys just not make a game that's like 40 or 50? Like the sweet spot for JRPGs. And I get it's like, oh, it needs to be that long. And yes, the pacing of like a Persona 5 is 100 hours and it doesn't feel like that because the pacing is so good. I get it. But I'm also like, I don't know if I can handle another Persona 5 anymore.
mhm.
Like I feel like I'm getting like almost I'm getting older and now these like insanely long games are getting less and less appealing to me. Where it was that feeling of like when I beat Astrobot, I'm like, oh my god, that's exactly the amount I needed.
Yeah,
Like,
because it's like
and
yeah,
it's like I wish I had that more.
because like I play it for like 2 hours a day, which it's like yeah, I'm gonna finish it before the end of the year, but I'm not
Uh-huh.
gonna finish it soon because yeah, it's like again to for 2 hours a day or something. So yeah, I kind of agree. We'll see how it affects me by the end, but yeah, I get that. That I understand.
Yeah, for sure. Um, for me, I've been playing more Unicorn Overlord. Not a lot. I haven't been actually had any time to
Um,
play games lately.
mhm.
um, but I'm about like 14, 15 hours in, I think. I'm enjoying it a lot. I actually think it's a way better game than I expected.
Oh,
But
I
my
yeah.
my thing is, Beef, I don't know how you feel. For some reason, strategy games wear me out. Where I'm like, I finish a battle, I'm like, oh, I need a cigarette. I need some time. And not because it's like hard, but for some reason, like just moving around the units a lot and like kind of
Mhm.
slowly watching the battle play out, I'm like, I like, damn, I should do like a Sekiro playthrough on the side. So it's like every time I finish a battle, I go play some Sekiro. It's just
Yeah.
like get my trigger fingers moving again. You know how I feel?
Yeah, I really
Um,
like that one, but what really I think
mhm,
saved it is like twice, maybe three times. I just did like a complete reset. I was like, all right, destroyed all my units. It's like I'm rebuilding everything. I got some
mhm.
advice from people because yeah, like it's not even just that. It's like after every battle, then it's like, well, add this, and so much piled
Yeah,
on.
grabbing all the
So it's
items and
like
stuff.
that's why I was like, all right, I'm gonna rebuild all my units now that I've like thought about like it. I'm gonna try some stuff. So yeah, I agree. Really good game. I kind of get why it's like almost fallen by the wayside, but yeah,
Yeah, no,
I like it.
no, I love. I'm loving it a lot. I will say the story,
Yeah, and that too. That's the
non-existent.
no. I'm like,
It
it's
like
fine, but it's weirdly, it's almost less than some Fire Emblems.
it's weird because it's like it also feels like it really wants you to care because like it has
Hmm.
like the reports of like letting you talk to units, and I got excited because I love Fire Emblem like support conversations, so I'm like, okay, let's hear them, and it's like 5 sentences like, do you like to read? I love reading. That's cool. And that's the end. I'm like, what the hell? It was this like emotional conversation. Nothing happened. I don't know. Like, they're fine, but it's like I'm not playing the game for that, I guess. And it's like I kind of wish I was.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Um.
know. Especially after crap. What was the last game vanilla? It's this
Oh,
13
13
Sentinels.
Sentinels. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
that's
so
an amazing story.
shocking. It's so shocking, but I'm like I was fine with it. I still love the gameplay, but yeah, it's like
Yeah, I
I'd
mean,
still put 13 Sentinels above it. I guess is what I'm saying.
I'm not the person who would get bothered nearly as much by it because
No.
I'm always more gameplay person at the end of the day. But I'm also like, I feel like RPGs. I'm like, okay, I expect a little bit more of a story if you're gonna keep me here for 40 hours. Uh, I I just think it's like a really chill game to kind of like chill out, throw on a pod. It's the perfect podcast game, like actually perfect podcast game. And I'd like throw that on, get some battles in, do some like I love just going around the world and just grabbing all the items and shit through
Hmm.
like, oh, harvest some wood, harvest some fish. It's like, yeah, well, I don't know. I'm a sucker for this type of stuff. Just resource gathering in games. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, I I could see this maybe making my top 10 by the end of the year. It's very like it's actually this year. I feel like it's closer than ever for what my top 10 is going to be. And I'm also at the point now where it's like halfway through November. I don't think I'm going to get through all the games I need to.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, Beef, I'll let you just think about this. I have Rebirth, Stellar Blade, Unicorn Overload right now, and Metaphor.
Yeah. Good
And
luck. Something's getting left.
it's one of those things. bench this. It's probably going to be Rebirth.
It's and unfortunately, I think you're right in that.
It's
And
like,
I feel
bet it's
bad for
gonna-
Bench because he loves it. And I'm just like, I think this holiday season might kill him a little bit. Now, maybe we're wrong and it does get like a lot more love than I expect, but I don't know.
yeah. I think the thing with the Rebirth is that I feel like after its release, people started like sharing like their issues with it, like story wise
I
specifically.
know people have like super like not even like
Yeah.
oh, I have this like I think it's like him with Metal. It's like
Like,
because
they hate
oh
the
it's an 8, but it's all like bitching. But I know people are like more than that. It's like no, this game is like it's not even that I love it, and here's the problem. It's like I have a lot of problems with it. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
okay.
think that's so far.
I just said I'm like I don't have I like it. I finished it. I just don't have too strong feelings about it. So it's like even though I'm like I can't like defend it or hold a torch for it.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Beef. That was a very fun podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I love these duo casts. We get very, lack of a better word, intimate. So we talked a lot about games this year in games, game awards. I cannot wait to see those nominees next
as
week
I'll say,
and see people complain.
And soon we'll have plenty more news to talk about. So yep, we'll be back with more podcasts.
Yep. And if you want to check out those podcasts, we'll be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere your favorite podcasts are found. Check us out on A Slice of Gaming on Twitter, and please like the podcast. It helps us out a ton. But that's pretty much it. Say goodbye.
All right. See y'all.
See ya.